Hey, and welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. So, I have a layer cake and some border fabric, binding fabric, accent fabric, and some background fabric. So what will I make with all of this? There we all go. There it all is. What am I going to make? Well, I am going to make the Cafe Window Quilt from Missouri Star Quilt Company. And here is a block. Look at the block. This is the block. And we'll add some sashings and a border. So, now my quilt may be done a little bit different than the construction of Missouri Star, but that's okay. It's just how I like to do it. Now, this is a free video tutorial, and I will link that down below. But let's get started. Or let's take a look at the layer cake first. So this is Mindscape from Art Gallery Fabrics. Now, this will be my first time ever using Art Gallery Fabrics. I have lots of Art Gallery Fabrics. It's just I never seem to use them. So we're going to do it this time. Just taking a look at some of them. Still going to those peachy colors. Okay. Well, we need to get started by separating our fabric, our layer cake, into some lights and darks and mediums. Let's get started doing that. Okay, so I'm going to undo this here, and we're going to start separating these into some lights and darks and mediums. Now, I will say this is, again, a free tutorial from Missouri Star Quilt Company, which I will link so you can watch that. Now, I'm not going to give sizes for the cutting instructions because it's not my pattern. All right, so here we go. So I have that whole layer cake sorted. This is going to be my darks, my lights, my mediums, and this is going to be the cornerstones between my blocks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out everything else. Okay, so I have my dark pile and my light pile. I'm going to start matching those up. Everything else is already cut out over here for the block. So I'm just going to take a light and a dark, place them right sides together, put a couple pins in them, and then when I go over to the sewing machine, I'm just going to sew all four sides of these together, and then I'm going to cut them apart diagonally. So I'm going to do that for all of my blocks. Just keep matching up a light and a dark. So I'm over here at the sewing machine, and I have my piles with my light and my dark. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing on all four sides for every one of these. To the end, I'm just going to go ahead and sew off the end and then turn. Okay, I'm going to keep going for all of these. So I'm back over here at my cutting mat. I have all of these sewn together, the seams around all four sides. So I'm just going to start taking them and I'm going to cut them apart. So I'm just going to cut them diagonally each way. One way. So I'm basically just making some half square triangles, and then I'm going to take all of these and trim them up with the clearly perfect slotted trimmers here. Now you can actually square these up to any size you want, but I'm going to try to make them the biggest I can to make the most out of my fabric. Got something on the back of that there. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to start trimming these up. Doesn't look like there's a lot to trim. Okay, so I have all the trimming done, so now I'm just going to start pressing these. I'm going to press them all toward the dark side. So pressing all these half square triangles. Okay, set my seam. Then opening them up. So I have my light and my dark here. So I just need to press all these half square triangles. So I'm going to keep doing that. So I have all of my half square triangles stacked up here, and then I've got some other squares that I'm going to put down here on the corner and do kind of a stitch and flip. So I am going to kind of use the same collar families all together. I know when Missouri Star did it, they did theirs kind of scrappy, but just to show you a little bit about how mine's going to be, I will have this, and then these triangles here will all be in the corner with some sashings. Cornerstone. And that. So all of my blocks are going to have, like I said, the same half square triangles and the same piece here all together. Now each block will be different, but it will have the same basic fabrics in it. So I'm going to put these back up. And I'm going to start adding all these squares to all of my piles. So these will be on the diagonal. I'm going to sew these down. A lot of people will draw a line, and if that works for you, then you should do it. However, I'm not going to draw a line. I'm going to pin, and then when I go to my sewing machine, I can just line it up with my diagonal seam tape and sew along there. So I have a bunch of pinning to do. Okay, I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch me pin all this. Okay, so I have all of those pinned right here. So now it just needs to go to the sewing machine, but I think this is where I'm going to end tonight. And then next time, hopefully we can sew everything together to get a complete block. All right, till then, bye.